Welcome to WWE WrestleMania 36 Preview Predictions. I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. As always, links are in fact in the description below. Originally supposed to be in Tampa, Florida at Raymond James Stadium only on Sunday, April the 5th. But however, due to the coronavirus outbreak that has rocked the world the past few weeks, WWE WrestleMania 36 will now be in Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center the weekend of April the 4th and 5th, 2020, as WrestleMania 36 now is too big for just one night. Former New England Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski, Gronkmania, Gronk will in fact host WrestleMania 36 this year. As mentioned, the reason why Mania was moved from Tampa to Orlando is because of the COVID-19. Hopefully everyone is safe and continues to stay safe. And thank you for listening to my WrestleMania 36 predictions during your quarantine lockdown during this coronavirus outbreak. Yes, in fact, WrestleMania has already happened. The WWE pre-taped the event this past week, as they've been doing so for Raw, NXT, and SmackDown the past few weeks during this coronavirus COVID-19 in 2020 that, as mentioned, has rocked the world to its core. I was hoping to have more videos from another recent professional wrestling WWE event that I was supposed to attend. However, if you like, follow, and subscribe on social media, you would have saw this by now, as I attended an NXT house show, a WWE house show for Monday Night Raw, a WWE Friday Night SmackDown event, along with my first ever pay-per-view, that being the most recent pay-per-view for the WWE in Elimination Chamber, about a month ago now. And I have videos from those events right here on Gridiron Ring's YouTube channel, so be sure to go check those out, including Kevin Owens calling Seth Rollins a bitch, also stating he has tiny balls, along with a dark match of Daniel Bryan and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Kevin Owens throwing popcorn on Seth Rollins, hitting him with a stunner then afterwards, along with The Undertaker returning to the WWE in 2020. However, was also supposed to attend a WWE Monday Night Raw, actually the first Raw that was in Orlando at the WWE PC. Missed it by about a week, which is a little unfortunate because it was Austin 316 day that day. Would have saw Stone Cold, Undertaker once again, along with Edge, who has a match versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I'll get to that here in a second. So I would have saw Taker and AJ Styles sign the contract for their Boneyard match that'll take place at WrestleMania as well, and I'll get to that as well shortly, so stay tuned. As mentioned, like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links are in the description below, but obviously with everything going on, I understand the circumstances. So as mentioned, hopefully everyone's safe, and without further ado, let's get into my WWE WrestleMania 36 predictions. Yes, there are spoilers out there. I myself have not looked any of those, read any of those. Honestly, don't know what to expect next weekend at WrestleMania 36. We'll start off with a match that features two future WWE Hall of Famers. It'll be the Phenom versus the Phenomenal One in The Undertaker and AJ Styles, as they'll have a Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36. Now, when I think of WrestleMania, I think of The Undertaker. The streak, he was 21-0 until WrestleMania 30 in April of 2014. Lost to the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Eat, sleep, conquer, repeat, eat, sleep, break the streak. Lesnar will also be in action defending his WWE Championship against the Chosen One, the Scottish Psychopath, in Drew McIntyre. However, Phenomenal One, Undertaker, AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. You might ask yourself the same question I asked myself: what the hell is a Boneyard match? Start thinking about it. It's going to be, I do believe, sort of something along the lines of a casket match or a buried alive match. Only time's going to tell. We'll find out next weekend at WrestleMania 36. I am, in fact, recording these a week earlier than what I normally would. However, with the recent tapings of basically already knowing what matches are taking place but not knowing spoilers, the results of the matches, that's why I myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media, decided to actually, for once, about a week or so ahead of time, sit down and record my WrestleMania 36 prediction. So hopefully you're enjoying. If you are, hit the thumbs up button, share on social media, and let me know in the comments below your predictions for the showcase of the Immortals on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Undertaker, AJ Styles, what Undertaker are we going to get to see? Will it be the Phenom, the Deadman Undertaker, or is the American Badass Undertaker finally returning here in 2020 at WrestleMania 36 for this Boneyard match versus the Phenomenal One, AJ Styles? They sort of teased it a few weeks back on Monday Night Raw that, in fact, the American Badass Undertaker would be returning. However, with circumstances, I don't think it'd be the right time to bring that character back. Yeah, it's been rumored the past few years at WrestleMania. Hasn't happened. Now, okay, they want to move forward with it. Honestly, as mentioned, don't know what Taker we're going to get to see at Mania next weekend. But how about save it, bring it back next year, WrestleMania 37. American Badass rides off in the sunset then at that point, once he loses to whoever you want to have him lose to in his retirement match. Now, yeah, this very well could be his retirement match as well. AJ wouldn't be a bad option to retire the dead man. However, every 3 years now, as Undertaker has been known for streaks, the WrestleMania streak, every 3 years now, at 30, 33, 36 next weekend, he's lost to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Could he lose to AJ Styles as well? Yes, I really want to pick AJ to win, but with the circumstances, no crowd for Mania this year, it'll still be on the WWE Network. I'll have live reactions play live right here on YouTube as well, so be sure to tune in. Too Big for Just One Night, WrestleMania 36, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Rusev Day, April the 4th and 5th, 2020, from the WWE Performance Center on a pre-taped WrestleMania for this year. But because of everything, Undertaker wins. Undertaker sticks around for at least another year. They'll bring him back, I would assume, sometime later on this year as well. They have the Saudi Arabian deal, 2 pay-per-views with Super Showdown and Crown Jewel in the spring and fall, and then Royal Rumble, Road WrestleMania next year. There's a few more storylines The Undertaker could be in for sure, no doubt about it. But it's one, does WWE want to use him? The answer to that is yes, but then 2, does Undertaker want to continue to wrestle? It's going to be the dead man's decision when he does, in fact, retire. So, only time's going to tell, but Undertaker, I do believe, because it's a Boneyard match as well, like stipulation matches for AJ Styles, especially for a Boneyard match, he's not going to be used to it, because think of Boneyard, you think of cemetery. It's going to be something similar to a casket or a buried alive match, as mentioned earlier, I do believe. So, because of Undertaker's history and experience in these type of matches, Undertaker finds a way to win and defeats the Phenomenal One at WrestleMania 36. I would assume that Gallows and Anderson will in fact be ringside or wherever the hell this match is going to take place at. And then they won't screw over AJ, but they'll find a way for him to lose. They'll end up costing him the match in the long run, and Taker will, in fact, come out victorious. And then for next year, WrestleMania 37, as they'll go Hollywood once again. This is, in fact, if they don't bring back the American Badass character for 36 this year, save it for next year, have him ride off into the sunset, get that Hollywood ending, close out his career on a high note, and whoever, as mentioned, they have him put over, whether it be, say, Aleister Black or even the Fiend Bray Wyatt, or maybe even someone else. Honestly, don't know right now. That's another year away. WWE is going to do what WWE wants to do in the end, regardless. So when that time comes, they'll for sure make up their minds, if we even get to that point with everything that's going on right now across the world. So I think Taker will defeat AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 in the first ever Boneyard match in a WWE ring. Also at WrestleMania 36, Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate himself, will defend his WWE Championship against the Chosen One, the Scottish Psychopath, in Drew McIntyre. McIntyre, I do believe, will come out victorious as well. He'll pick up his first WWE Championship. His broken dreams will, in fact, come true. It's the right time for Lesnar to put over another up-and-coming talent, even though McIntyre's been around for quite a while, has also been released by the WWE before they brought him back, signed with NXT, former NXT champion, tag team mix with him and Ziggler for a little while after returning from injury about 2 years ago now, I do believe it was. And in the meantime, they've been trying to push him along with a few other superstars to the top, but Lesnar has done a pretty damn good job the past few years in putting over some younger talent with Seth Rollins and a few others. And I do believe with the build-up starting back at Royal Rumble in Houston, Lesnar dominating the Royal Rumble until McIntyre eliminated him with the Claymore kick. Lesnar will put over Drew. Drew will win with the Claymore kick and become WWE Champion at WrestleMania 36. Next, we'll transition over to the SmackDown side of things with the Universal Championship and the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. This goes back to WWE Super Showdown at the end of February. About a month ago now, WWE had that pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, an Elimination Chamber, had two pay-per-views in about a week and a half span at the end of February, early March. And with the main event of the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, Super Showdown here in 2020, that being The Fiend Bray Wyatt defending and then losing to a returning Goldberg once again, who can't wrestle. All he literally does is spear and vertical suplex, the jackhammer in quotes. That's all Bill Goldberg has ever done, and that's all he will continue to do, and we've seen it how many times now the past few years. Oh, I'm coming back for one more match. I'm done now. 6-7 months later, Bill Goldberg once again back in the WWE. I get ratings and everything else that adds up to bringing somebody back to his caliber. Yes, okay, he's a former WCW champion, WWE Hall of Famer, actor, undefeated streak that was blown way out of proportion. 1 week he's 6-0 on Monday Night Nitro. The next week, even though they only had one show with Nitro, no house shows the rest of the week, and this was even before they had Thunder on Thursday nights. The next Monday night, they would say, and I get it, it's professional wrestling, storyline-wise, I totally understand it, because you want him to you want to make him look as strong as possible, excuse me there, but like the next week he would be like 35-0, which, you add it up, how's that possible? Makes no sense whatsoever. So Goldberg's just been that superstar, one of the superstars that I've never really liked, and reasoning why right before this, so among some others as well, but mainly because of that. And then you have him defending now his Universal Championship against the big dog Roman Reigns, and I'll get into Reigns here in a second, but this also ties in with John Cena and the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Because at Super Showdown, as mentioned, Bray dropped the title to Goldberg. The next night then on SmackDown, Goldberg opened up the show as they were in Boston at the TD Garden, home of the Celtics and Bruins. Hopefully both basketball and hockey along with baseball will be back very, very shortly. At least we still have professional wrestling. Wrestling is basically the only thing on TV anymore. Wrestling on 3 nights a week, sometimes 4. But Goldberg said who's next, and then this ties in with Elimination Chamber as well. They were supposed to have a men's number 1 contender Elimination Chamber match to determine the Universal Championship's number 1 contender for WrestleMania. Reigns was in that match, Sheamus was in that match, Daniel Bryan was in that match, I believe Rude and Nakamura along with Corbin as well, if I'm not mistaken. Could be somebody I'm missing on SmackDown. That obviously with everything going on, not everyone is going to be on the card. There's no Battle Royals this year for the first time in a few years, which is a good thing because after a while, yes, those do get a little boring. I get the excitement with those, and it gets everybody on the card as mentioned, but for the first time in a few years, as mentioned, no Battle Royals, because with the CDC regulations, you can't have more than 10 people in an area at a single time. So that's why we're not seeing any 8-man tags, or we're supposed to get a ladder match. We'll see if that happens. But then this also goes back to WWE booking and how bad it has been and how much better it could be, if that makes sense. Because they basically just scrap it all, bring back Goldberg, have him win the title, announce it, no build for it. Reigns says he's next. They then have a contract signing. Just recently, news broke, Roman Reigns pulling out of the match. Compromised immune system from his recent battles with leukemia. Totally understand that. So, going back to Bray dropping the title, they should have never have taken the title off of Bray Wyatt, because then you have Bray look even stronger. When they took the title off of Bray Wyatt and put it on Goldberg, I was livid. I was so mad. But obviously, over time, you get over it. You understand why to some extent, because in the long run, over the next year or so, or even years to come, hopefully, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, the Fiend in particular, is going to look even stronger than what he has the past 9 months since he debuted last spring after WrestleMania 35. But at that point in time, just about a month ago, the build from then until now, or until then, at least a month ago, that was all thrown out then as well. And then you bring in John Cena, bring back John Cena last year, okay? He didn't have a match. He had a segment. Doctor of Thugonomics returned. Why don't you just have another segment, okay? Because 2 years ago then, he did face The Undertaker for the first time at WrestleMania, but it was a squash match, because The Undertaker's getting up there in age as well. Can't hardly wrestle anymore. That's the thing with the WWE, and obviously, yes, you can say the same thing about AEW right now too, because they just brought in Jake the Snake Roberts, but he's not wrestling, he's managing. So there's a little bit of a difference from the way I see it, at least. But everybody has their own opinion, and I've said that time and time again over the years, and I totally respect that. But WWE keeps bringing back. I get The Undertaker, that's fine, because The Undertaker draws. Goldberg draws too, but he was never really that big in the WWE. Yes, he was big in WCW, as mentioned, but I just don't understand it to some extent. Like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. But to some extent, it does, if that makes sense. I know I'm going all over the place, but I'm trying to tie in both of these matches best I can, because it goes back to Super Showdown, because in my opinion, they should never have taken the title, Universal Championship, the blue Universal Championship, off of The Fiend Bray Wyatt and put it on Bill Goldberg. And then you insert Roman Reigns, you take off the Elimination Chamber match, have the women's main event. Shayna Baszler wins that. She gets Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship now at WrestleMania 36. I'll get to that match as well coming up shortly. And then they have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Elimination Chamber match as the other. And, I mean, the pay-per-view wasn't that bad in person. Could have been better, yes, as any event, any show, as mentioned with the WWE, could be. Because the booking, in my opinion, as of late, has been below average. For sure, yes, could be 10 times better, but they're still going to do what they want. I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant, shooting here with my WrestleMania 36 predictions, but these are my predictions, and these are my opinions, so hopefully you're enjoying it. Hit the thumbs up button. Share on social media as well. Like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. But it's like they promote all this, and then they just throw it out the window after a split second. Nothing happened. Move forward. Act like nothing happened. You move forward then at that point, and whatever happens, happens. That's the WWE for you sometimes, and I get it, but it's just sometimes nerve-wracking. It gets irritating after a while, to be honest with you. But hey, life goes on. It's the booking sometimes. Like Vince, he's what, almost 75? Go back to the CM Punk pipe bomb promo on a Monday Night Raw almost a decade ago now. Vince is gone. Idiotic daughter and son-in-law will take over, and Stephanie and Triple H won't be any better. Well, it'll be a little bit better, I would think. Raw and SmackDown would be the way NXT has been the past few years. And then I would assume AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is still going to be around at that point as well. So competition's good, as mentioned before, and the competition will be here to stay for sure. No doubt about that as well. But it just blows my mind with some of the things that they do. Some of it makes no sense, but then over time you get over it, as mentioned, and they're still going to do what they want to do, and we're still going to watch, and we're still going to talk about it, and we're still going to go an extra 15-20 minutes, however long I've been trying to talk about these two matches with Goldberg and Roman Reigns. Now Goldberg versus to be determined. We'll find out at WrestleMania. There are some options. They could have John Cena, Bray Wyatt as the number one contender match in a Firefly Funhouse match, to then face Goldberg either the same night or night 2, as WrestleMania is now 2 nights, too big for just one night this year. WrestleMania 36 in Orlando at the WWE Performance Center. And then have Bray Wyatt get the title back, or have John Cena become a 17-time champ. We'll see. Highly doubt that'll happen, but I do believe Bray Wyatt's going to defeat John Cena, because that's the only way all of this works itself out with everything that's been going on with these two storylines. With Goldberg getting the title back, he's now a, 2-time, and this is every 3 years now as well, too, because that was Winter Spring WrestleMania 33 in 2017. He beat Kevin Owens in the squash match at Fastlane, won the Red Universal Championship, and now 3 years later, March of 2020, wins the Blue Universal Championship over the Fiend Bray Wyatt in the desert of Saudi Arabia. He's a Hall of Famer, as mentioned, actor, former WCW champion. List goes on and on for his accolades. It's like, yeah, there's no doubt about it. He is one of the best, but he can't really do a whole lot. And that's why, as mentioned earlier, I honestly really don't like him, because all he can do is spear and jackhammer people, vertical suplex. And Reigns is the same way, basically. Like, he has not changed one bit since the Shield. He's literally still coming out to the Shield's entrance and wearing the same attire, week in and week out, show after show. It's like Moxley, Dean Ambrose had changed. Rollins has changed how much. He's the new messiah of the WWE on Monday Night Raw. He's facing Kevin Owens in singles competition. I'll get to that as well coming up shortly. But Roman Reigns, plain and simple, is this generation's Goldberg, in my opinion. But as mentioned, everybody has their own opinion, so you can let me know in the comments below what you think about that, along with WrestleMania 36 still taking place amid the coronavirus outbreak. So bad booking from bad creative, as Le Champion Chris Jericho once said on AEW Dynamite a few months back, while he was still champion, has since dropped the title, lost it to Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, in the WWE at the AEW Revolution pay-per-view about a month ago as well. There was a lot of wrestling about a month ago in a week and a half span. And then just recently as well, we finally found out who the Exalted One is, the leader of the Dark Order in AEW, Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper of the Wyatt family in the WWE. He's all in with All Elite Wrestling, as he is now the Exalted One. Goldberg, in the end, for this Universal Championship match, regardless of who he's facing, Roman Reigns or now the big dog's opponent, because, as mentioned, Reigns voluntarily pulling himself out of WrestleMania this year, and who knows how long he'll be on the shelf for. Coronavirus outbreak, he's had leukemia before, compromised immune system, as mentioned. I totally understand that. So who now basically is going to be Reigns' replacement to face Goldberg at WrestleMania 36 for the Universal Championship, because Goldberg's going to drop it. He keeps his title. It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, over time, put it back on Bray, put it on Corbin, put it on Reigns eventually, maybe even Cena, 17-time champ. I think if they were to do that, it would have to be for the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. But who knows? Hell, we could see a draft or a shakeup. But who knows as well how much longer these shows are going to go on for with no crowd, because they can't travel right now with lockdowns all across the country and the world because of COVID-19. So, I understand the circumstances. I get it all. Yes, everything could be better, but in the end, they are doing a pretty damn good job of keeping everything together and just moving along as planned, as if it would be a normal week in the WWE. But everything, yeah, is all messed up for sure. No doubt about that either. But who's going to replace Reigns? That's the big question. There are some reports out there of who it will in fact be. I personally don't know, nor do I want to know. Any spoilers for any of these matches, result-wise, for what's going to happen at WrestleMania next weekend, I myself want to see it happen live while it's on the network, while I'm doing my live reactions. So be sure to tune in live right here on YouTube for WrestleMania 36 live reactions play-by-play, as it's too big for just one night once again. But because really, old days, I mean, hell, even just 10 years ago, there was no social media. There was no spoilers out there of who was going to win and whatnot. Okay, yeah, you can say it's scripted, but like the wrestling, the action is still real to some extent. Like if they get injured, they're injured. Like if they got surgery because they just blew their knee out, why the hell would they fake getting ACL reconstructive surgery or meniscus tear or broken ankle, torn labrum, separated shoulder, whatever the case may be? You get my gist. But that's the fun part about wrestling. Like, you're supposed to sit back and watch it. Oh, we thought this was going to happen. They did this. Okay, yeah, you swerved us. They need to bring that show back as well. But, that, in my opinion at least, that's the fun part about it. And not knowing, because if you know everything, what's the point of watching? It makes no sense then. Like, you're literally just wasting your time. Okay, yeah, you might have an idea of what they're going to do, but they might swerve you. They might go, the opposite direction, as mentioned. But Fiend John Cena, Firefly Funhouse match. As mentioned, I think Bray's going to win that because you go to the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles. How many times has John Cena been in the Firefly Funhouse, other than having his picture be on the wall a few times in the past few months? 0. Okay? Bray knows the Firefly Funhouse more than the 16-time world champion in the Hollywood movie star now in John Cena. As The Rock has done his thing. He's been in how many damn movies? John Cena just joined the Fast and Furious franchise. However, that's been postponed a full year. Goldberg's dodged Santa Claus, for God's sakes. Miz is Santa's little helper. Randy Orton was in the 12 rounds, I think, right? Now I'm just naming off WWE superstars and movies. Hell, Brody Lee, Luke Harper was in that Mohawk movie. That honestly really wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. But, stipulation-wise, Styles doesn't know a Boneyard match. No one really knows what a Boneyard match is. Boneyard, you think of cemetery, casket, buried alive match. Undertaker's been in how many of those? He's a dead man, for God's sakes. He's the Undertaker. He's going to win because of experience. Bray's going to win as well because of knowing the Firefly Funhouse. I'm excited for the Firefly Funhouse match. I honestly am. I think it's going to be, honestly, the most interesting match of how they present it on the card. Most interesting match overall. Same thing presenting-wise, Undertaker, AJ Styles. Presenting-wise, I mean how it looks on WrestleMania. How they're going to show it to all of us watching at home, because there's not going to be anybody there. Cena Fiend as well. But then Edge Randy Orton, and I'll get to that last man standing match shortly as well, as Edge made his return at the Royal Rumble and then eliminated his former Rated RKO tag team partner in Randy Orton. And then Orton has since basically been on top every week, attacking Edge and his wife Beth Phoenix with steel chairs and RKOs out of nowhere once again. So we'll get into that coming up shortly as well. But Firefly Funhouse match, I think we're going to get to see Bray Wyatt. I think we're going to get to see the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, as well, along with Mercy the Buzzard, the Vince McMahon puppet, all the other characters in the Firefly Funhouse, I think, will make appearances. And Cena will be freaked out. And, okay, yeah, he'll hit the AA and all his moves that he does. The 6 moves of doom now. Because, okay, you want to talk about Goldberg only doing a few things. Cena really doesn't do a whole lot either. The thing with Hogan, Goldberg, Cena, they were very, very popular. Like, that's what got him over. Stone Cold was popular. Okay, he did a little bit more, but like, just that story with him and Vince, just the character, like the employee that wants to kick the boss's ass all the time, hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner, drink beer on the job, and just raise hell all the time. I said a few weeks back, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, everybody has their own opinion as mentioned, the Stone Cold character and the Undertaker character, arguably the 2 best WWE characters of all time. So Bray Wyatt's going to win. Undertaker's going to win. Drew McIntyre's going to win. Who's going to be Roman Reigns' replacement? Fiend, Cena. I think it should be a number 1 contender, but that's not going to happen, as mentioned. Could be Jeff Hardy. He's returned recently. Thing with Hardy, they always bring him back, give him a big push. Either can't stay out of rehab or gets hurt and has to go back to rehab. Basically the same thing there. And then he's gone, and then they do the same thing with him, a year and a half later. Matt Hardy, Broken Matt, is back. He's in AEW now as well, debuting a few weeks back on the same episode as Brody Lee, as he was revealed as the Exalted One and then Broken Matt to close out the show, in a feud now with Le Champion Chris Jericho. For the time being, at least, we'll see what direction AEW goes with the World Championship with Jon Moxley. You still have Jericho, Hardy now coming in. You have Harper and the Dark Order up against SCU, it looks like. I think Harper-Moxley would be a good championship feud eventually when the time's right. Whether that be over the summer or in the fall, or honestly don't know. So we'll see. But hell, Sheamus could be an option for Goldberg. Hardy and Sheamus, along with a few returnees, could very well win, along with some other superstars on Raw and SmackDown, for that matter. Could win the Money in the Bank in the middle of May, and hopefully that'll take place in Baltimore with a crowd, because I'll be there and have videos, so be sure to check those out when the time comes, if the event happens. So attending a few events recently, missing out on one, have some plans for the next pay-per-view after Mania, that being Money in the Bank, as it's been, and then Backlash will come back in June. Extreme Rules SummerSlam is your summer card for the WWE. But with everything going on right now, who knows if, as mentioned, we'll even get to that point. But only time's going to tell for sure. One day at a time. Keep washing your hands. Hopefully you have toilet paper. And go watch Tiger King. Go watch Tiger King. Maybe Tiger King will be Goldberg's opponent for the Universal Championship. He's in Florida. He is locked up. Could be Lars Sullivan. Could be Jinder Mahal. Samoa Joe's one to keep an eye out for, coming back from suspension. Everybody's going to say Matt Riddle with the story Goldberg and Riddle have had recently. Gilberg as well would be funny. Gilberg, Universal Championship. At that point, I'd be fine with Goldberg retaining, but then have him drop it the next night on the Raw after Mania or the SmackDown after Mania. maybe even a real dog to replace the big dog, Roman Reigns, at WrestleMania against Goldberg. It's going to be Braun Strowman, though, because Strowman doesn't have anything else going on right now. He dropped the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber to Sami Zayn, who defends against Daniel Bryan. That, in my opinion, should have been a 6 or an 8-man ladder match, or even a triple threat with Sami, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. But then if you make it a ladder match, you have those three from the triple threat, along with Daniel Bryan, who's in the match now, singles. He'll win over Sami. Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, King Corbin, all hell King Corbin, along with Elias. But instead, they split some of that up, have a few other matches, and then some of the superstars don't even get used. And now Elias looks to be off after what happened on SmackDown. So Corbin's probably either going to face Jeff Hardy or Sheamus, I bet. Maybe even a returning Joe, Jinder, or Lars. Honestly, don't know. We'll see. But I thought, because normally they have the Intercontinental Championship or one of the tag matches for the titles as a ladder match. And it looks like it's going to be the SmackDown tag titles on the line in a ladder match, a triple threat. However, very well could turn into a singles triple threat ladder match for the tag belts, if that makes sense, because of some sickness, as the A-lister, the Hollywood movie star himself, Miz, has come down with the sickness. Oh, wow. So John Morrison, somebody from the New Day, and then somebody from the Usos, it looks like, if they even have it. Not going to pick a winner, because I honestly don't know who's going to win that to begin with. So, of the 14, 15, 16 matches that are, in fact, advertised, and with Mania already taking place, pre-taped, not yet shown to the world, they could still go back in and edit and do what they need to do to make it look good. So, but I thought the Intercontinental Championship should have been a ladder match with either Daniel Bryan, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, or King Corbin winning the title. But now with it just being a singles, it's going to be Sami Zayn defending against Daniel Bryan, and DB's going to get the title back. And he won this championship at WrestleMania 31, injured once again shortly after, had to relinquish the title, and I don't believe he ever got it back, to be honest with you, but then returned 2 years ago, tag match at WrestleMania, and last year lost to Kofi. It was Kofi Mania. So he's been all over the place, face, heel, good at both, sort of putting over Drew Gulak in the meantime as well on SmackDown, which is a good thing. So, but no, for Goldberg, Reigns, it's going to be Braun Strowman, because it doesn't have anything else to do. Like I said, he dropped the title. Now, if this was still going to take place in Tampa and they got a hold of Tyson Fury, have a rematch there. They had it in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel, on Halloween. Fury won the match, and then recently just defeated Deontay Wilder as well in boxing. But then Strowman stood tall afterwards. But then they can't bring in Fury. Thought for a second maybe Gronk, because Gronk was coming in for Mania, but now he's hosting, so that's out of the question. So it's going to be Goldberg dropping the Universal Championship to Braun Strowman, which is a good thing, to be honest with you. Braun's that big, muscular, sweaty guy that Vince likes. Braun's another one they've been trying to get over a lot the past few years. I think he regrets what he recently stated about independent wrestling, but as mentioned, everybody has their own opinion. So you get McIntyre over, you get Strowman over as new champions, and then with Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, I've been saying for months, I believe that match is for the number one contendership for the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. I think Kevin Owens is going to win that because Buddy Murphy, along with the AOP, AOP injured once again, so they're going to be off TV, it looks like. Murphy's going to turn on Rollins. Buddy Murphy will turn on Seth Rollins. They'll have a little bit of a feud. Rollins will get a championship match at SummerSlam, I think. Owens will be the first to get after McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Along with Aleister Black, who knows, with Edge and Randy Orton, whoever wins that last man standing match, that could be a number one contendership as well. But then another draft or a shake-up, too. They could do that, too, so we'll see what happens there. But you get over a couple guys you've been trying to get over in recent years that really it hasn't worked because or the timing wasn't right, basically. So Strowman, he'll win. McIntyre's going to win as well. Speaking of Aleister Black, he's facing Bobby Lashley in a match that basically doesn't matter. I mean, that could honestly be a number one contender match as well on Raw for the WWE Championship. Lashley could very well get put in the championship picture once again. Thing is, with Lashley, too, 10, 12 years ago, all he was, along with Ryback. But Ryback gets it more than anybody because he's a spitting image of Goldberg. But I honestly did like Ryback when he was around, Ryan Reeves, before he requested his release. But Lashley, ECW champion, all he's known for is that, and then, in my opinion at least, facing Umaga at WrestleMania 23 in a battle of the billionaires with the WWE chairman himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and now the 45th president of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Lashley had defeated Umaga. Lashley was with Trump. Umaga was with Vince. Vince got his head shaved. So, Lesnar, he'll drop the title, go away for a little bit, I would think, once again. Maybe Lesnar-Lashley, finally. Maybe inside of an octagon or a cage of some sort at SummerSlam. Or sometime over the summer, maybe even Brock, or hell, they'll probably have Roman win Money in the Bank now because he's out. But that's just going to piss more people off. But that's what they're going to want, especially if they're going to turn him heel. Because it gets him over even more in the long run. Makes sense, yes. And then potentially next year, it's been rumored, it's going to be Reigns defeating The Rock. And then The Rock will be done for good, so we'll see what happens there as well. But I think Aleister's going to win. Aleister Black with a black mask to Bobby Lashley. Kevin Owens defeating Seth Rollins. Because eventually Murphy turning on Rollins, one of his disciples on the Messiah. But Rollins could win if Murphy and AOP aren't there because of cut downs, basically. With when you're not allowed to have basically more than 5 or so people. I said 10 earlier. It's 10, but 10 people in an area. So social distancing, folks. Hopefully you have toilet paper. Keep washing those hands. But bouncing all over the place. WrestleMania is going to be interesting for sure. Trying to tie everything up, tie everything together. It's the grandest stage of them all. Corbin, as mentioned, who knows who the hell his opponent's going to be now. We'll find out on SmackDown, I would think. Dolph Ziggler and Otis with Mandy Rose involved. We'll see if she'll be a special guest ref. Daniel Bryan's going to win the Intercontinental Championship. Owens, Rollins, Edge, Orton, they're toss-ups. They are. The WWE Universal Funhouse Boneyard Last Man Standing match, those are your top 5 matches. And then everything else, I mean, Becky Lynch, Shayna, and Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship as well, are basically your top matches. Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan as well. But Otis finally gets over. Otis will defeat Dolph. Mandy's going to figure out who she wants to go with. And will decide the winner of that match, basically. I mean, they could honestly go any which way for these. But I'm picking McIntyre. I'm picking Strowman. I'm picking Bray Wyatt. I'm also going to pick The Undertaker, as mentioned, Aleister Black. So The Fiend and Aleister next year, potential options for The Undertaker, as mentioned earlier. I'm going to pick Kevin Owens along with Daniel Bryan. And then with Corbin's going to lose regardless of who he faces. Unless they keep Elias in it, then I would think Corbin's going to win. But probably not. Corbin's going to lose regardless. He'll probably face Jeff Hardy or Sheamus, I would think, as mentioned earlier. Otis, Daniel Bryan, and then you get into the women's matches. We'll save Edge Orton for last because it's a last man standing match. And I would think Lesnar McIntyre is going to main event the one night, and then Goldberg, whoever, is going to main event the other night. Or if they have Cena Fiend as the number one contender, they could have that night one and then have the Universal Championship night two. Keep Goldberg, keep people guessing on who it's going to be. Becky's going to put over Shayna. Shayna should have won the Women's Royal Rumble this year, however Charlotte Flair did. Charlotte Flair won the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble, as did Drew McIntyre on the men's side. So Woo and Broken Dreams, he needs to bring that theme song back. Hopefully he does sometime soon. So then Charlotte picked Rhea Ripley. Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, NXT Women's Championship. First time ever an NXT Championship will be defended at WrestleMania this year. There was supposed to be an NXT TakeOver Tampa, but that got canned with everything going on. And they're just going to have the TakeOver matches on the next few weeks of NXT, head-to-head with AEW. So it'll be Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. This is not official as of yet, but that's the way they're moving in for the NXT Championship. Demise of the Undisputed Era will continue as Roderick Strong lost the North American Championship to Keith Lee. The tag team of Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, dropped that to the Broserweights in Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. However, Pete Dunne stuck over in the UK, so that's why Riddle's really not doing anything right now. Got attacked by Malcolm Bivens, I do believe his name is, his new tag team, the Jinder Mahal lookalikes on NXT this past week. And now you have Adam Cole left as the NXT champion. And I would think the Undisputed Era, unless over... I mean, because you look at it, if they're not going to do any shows with crowds until, say, May or June, that's probably not until when we'll get a draft or a shakeup. So, Undisputed Era coming up to the main roster sometime soon, I would think. Cole's going to drop the title. Velveteen Dream's going to be near NXT champion. We're finally going to get Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano for the final time, the Blackheart and Johnny wrestling, along with the women's number one contender ladder match for the NXT Women's Championships. Whoever wins that at WrestleMania, whether it be Rhea Ripley or Charlotte Flair, we'll know over the next few weeks on NXT who the new number one contender will in fact be. And then Keith Lee is going to defend his NXT North American Championship against Dominic Dijak, and Damian Priest, Punishment Martinez. And, I mean, I really want to be surprised if he drops it, because Dream's going to get the NXT Championship. Dream should hold it for quite a while, but Keith Lee should be put in the mix as well. Hell, maybe even Keith Lee, Bobby Lashley, Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar once again. Keith Lee, along with Adam Cole, Aleister Black, Ricochet doesn't get enough credit. A few others. They are the future of the WWE. Rollins is going to be around for a while. Kevin Owens is still going to be there. Reigns, the big dog himself. We'll see how long Edge can go for. Orton, I would assume, will be around for a few more years. They'll bring back John Cena when needed. Drew McIntyre as well, and Braun Strowman too. So Charlotte's going to win the NXT Women's Championship again. She'll get that back. And then Becky's going to lose to Shayna. Shayna won the Elimination Chamber. So all 4 horsewomen in championship matches at WrestleMania, because also Bayley's going to defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against the sassy Southern Belle and Lacey Evans, Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha Banks. So Sasha's going to win that from Bayley in the now fatal 5-way. It was supposed to be a 6-pack challenge. Dana Brooke in quarantine. Get well soon to her and Rey Mysterio as well. Rey, along with Andrade and Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, rumored it was planned for how long a fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. Now not going to happen. So no U.S. Championship match. Andrade not even going to compete now, I guess. So I've heard. Street Profits will retain their Raw Tag Team Championships then against Angel Garza and reportedly, in quotes, Austin Theory, which, okay, good for him. He's a damn good professional wrestler. And he's a heel, too, for the heel tag team with him and Garza. Zelina Vega ringside. But it just doesn't make sense. But short on numbers, I get it. There really wasn't anybody else. And there's really no other heel tag team on Raw right now, especially with AOP injured. So they add this. No Rey, no Humberto, no United States Championship as mentioned. So Street Profits will retain there, and then not even going to pick a winner for SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Corbin's going to lose regardless, whoever he faces. But with Charlotte winning the Rumble, she'll defeat Rhea. Rhea will probably then come up to the main roster, I would think, on SmackDown, hopefully. I think that would be a good fit for her. And then Shayna wins the Raw Women's Championship. Becky's held it for how long? Needs something else to do. Maybe she'll go to SmackDown as well if they shake things up. But with her and Rollins together, they'll probably keep them together on Raw or SmackDown. And then Sasha's going to become SmackDown Women's Champion, which, alright, whatever. And I think that's about it, to be honest with you. I think that'll do it. So once again, I know I rambled on and on and on. I'm going to try to cut this down if I can a little bit. I'm picking Drew McIntyre to win his first ever WWE Championship. His broken dreams will in fact come true. I believe he'll defeat the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman's going to defeat Goldberg to become Universal Champion. The Fiend Bray Wyatt as well, winning the Firefly Funhouse match against John Cena. Undertaker over AJ Styles in the Boneyard match. Still have one more to go, and we'll get to that right now, I suppose. Edge, Randy Orton, last man standing. You must be the last man standing after a 10 count from the official in order to win. Orton should win because he's a heel. Get him over as a heel even more. But Edge is going to win this. They wouldn't have brought him back at the Royal Rumble to have him lose at WrestleMania. Fans or no fans, Edge is definitely the rated R superstar versus the Viper. Last man standing, WrestleMania 36. Edge is going to win. And then also, I do believe Kevin Owens will defeat Seth Rollins. Be sure to go check out those videos as well, as mentioned, with Owens calling Rollins a bitch, also stating Rollins, not Owens. Rollins has tiny balls. And then Popcorn along with the Stunner. Daniel Bryan becoming Intercontinental Champion once again, I do believe, along with Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks winning women's championships. So 3 new women's champs, and then Street Profits retaining. If I had to pick somebody for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, it's either going to be New Day or the Usos. Probably the Usos. They have been trying to get the titles back on them for quite a while now after they returned from injury. Xavier Woods still on the shelf, so New Day still down a man. Okay, yeah, they've been moving forward with a two-man team, but New Day is just not the same without Xavier Woods and Francesca, his trombone. And then with Miz and Morrison just winning the titles, Miz reportedly down with a sickness, as mentioned. Who knows how much longer he'll be out for. And, yeah, that's it, basically. Aleister Black then over Bobby Lashley. Corbin's going to lose regardless, which is a little unfortunate. He should win. King Corbin is awesome. He's a future champion. They should have never had him lose Money in the Bank. But it was a non-successful cash-in against John Cena at SummerSlam a few years back when he still had hair. And then Otis will defeat Dolph Ziggler because I think Mandy's going to side with him. So that'll do it for WWE WrestleMania 36 preview predictions, as WrestleMania 36 this year in 2020 is too big for just one night. It'll be next weekend, April the 4th and 5th. So be sure to tune in live right here on YouTube for my live reactions, play-by-play, as Rob Gronkowski will host the Showcase of the Immortals from the WWE Performance Center. Be sure to go check out those videos. As mentioned, like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below, in the comments below. Let me know what you thought. Give this video a thumbs up. Drop your WrestleMania 36 predictions as well in the comments below. And I hope to see everybody now next weekend for WWE WrestleMania 36 live reactions.